Lodi Cop, are we on? Hey, good morning. Sawadi Cup, I mean, good evening to Melody and everyone else out there. Sawadi Cup, Namaste, Namaskar. I don't know what's going on with Instagram. It's on YouTube, okay. Instagram, it's being weird. YouTube is like, YouTube is like, I mean, not YouTube. Uh, 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 TikTok just, what is going on with it? We're having trouble starting your live stream. I'm glad. Oh, I see. Come on. There we go. I think that should do it. Right. I'm now live. Okay, yeah, wow. I'm now live. Actually, I've been alive all night. Just shh. Don't tell TikTok. That'll piss them off. Yeah, so, yeah, I am well. Well, am I well? Yeah, I can't. Uh, okay. Here we're going. Okay, great. And we got people coming out here. Yeah, okay, so we're alive and awake. I don't know. I was trying to do the TikTok. What happened was we started 2.0, as you may know, and so then we just posted something about Oasis. Didn't just to check it out and didn't do anything, and it knocked it down, flagged it, said as uh, 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 inappropriate or non-verified, whatever. All of us was about Oasis. So clearly, they they just don't like us. I mean, I don't like me. Um, they don't like me. Let me try one thing here. Bear with me for a minute, you guys. Uh, uh, this is just at what? Yeah. What is it? Oh my God! It's this. Okay, forget it. Forget it. Okay. All right. All right. Let's go. Oh, here's Dale. I guess okay. So real quickly, you guys, I am a CFC Inner Circle member, and I missed the last session. Could you tell me how I can get the recorded session to review? You know, well, go to that chat on Telegram, and there's a place where you should be able to. There's a part. It's not the chat. There's a part where you can talk to the people that are doing that. I think it's always available. Like it's like within a few days. So go in there, and Jessica will. You'll see Jessica just and ask her because she's the one that's doing it. Because I don't know exactly the timing on it. Oh, you like that falling off the platform? Yeah. Okay, good. I have to be. I guess I was trying to be subtle, but yet precise. All right, so here we are. Oh, I said don't need this. Okay. Anyway, wow. Sunday evening for you guys over there on that side of the world. Good evening. And uh, has do things in life right now seem a little bit weird, or is it just? I mean, I know I'm weird, but it's not just me. Maybe it's just me. It's just my life. Yeah, things are pretty normal, huh? I mean, normally abnormal, abnormally normal, right? Normally abnormal. Ah, yeah. Okay, Instagram. Instagram has died too. They don't like. I mean, it's only like 13 people. Anyway, so let's just get on with it. Okay. So anyway, what I wanted to not normal at all. Okay, good. So things are not normal, or what is normal? I mean, let's say usual. Let's use that's a better word. Usual. Things are not usual. What does that mean? I mean, it's the problem with thinking. Usual. What usually happens? Well, I guess there's patterns in our lives, but it just seems so. There just seems to be an underlying chaos. It's just chaotic, and I think it's on purpose. I think we've been inundated with, and are continuing to be inundated with, uh, almost random stuff. It's almost random, although it's not. It's kind of we're randomly being poisoned. We're randomly being, things in the air and food. You're finding out. What's really amazing to me is how the people that don't know what's going on. How do you not know? What would you have to do to not know? I guess you would. Okay. You get up in the morning and you immediately put on CNN or whatever, MS, NBC, whatever. You put that on, and you've got that in the background. And then you go about doing your thing, and then that's it. And then would you still think things are normal? I guess so. I can't imagine being that way. I mean, having that state of mind. But anyway, we've been in trouble for a long time, um, and things are like it's just like it's just this chaotic insanity. It's like underneath the surface of everything is kind of like bees swarming. So you feel like something's going to erupt or something's going to happen. Yeah, that's what I feel like. Um, but I don't understand how people don't know, and they're still wearing masks. It was like what? So it's almost like really it's literally like we're on two different channels, right? They're on channel 7, we're on channel 5, and can't communicate. They're seeing a world that we don't see. We're seeing a world that they don't see. Isn't that crazy? Um, in my father's house, there are many mansions. Um, that has many meanings. Uh, so some questions. Okay, so yeah. Have to stay grounded. Yeah, I agree. Stay grounded. Take your shoes off and stay grounded spiritually, you just have to learn to stop thinking. You have to do that. You have to listen to your breath with 100% of your ability. And try it. It's called meditation. I don't know why they call it mindfulness, because it's really mindlessness, but I think it sounds good. It sounds good to be mindful. Now you mind your head now. You mind that when you're going down. You mind, yeah. So I love those signs on in Japan. It says, mind your head. How do you mind your head? Mind your head. It was mind your head when you're getting up. Anyway, mindful, mindless. Um, Mindful would mean like too many thoughts, because the mind is thoughts. That's what it is. So how could you be mindful? You got to be mindless. You got to get rid of the thoughts, because thoughts get in the way of experiencing. You can't experience something if you're thinking, right? You cannot experience something if you're thinking. If you're thinking, and something else has happened to you on a physical level, you won't experience, because you're there in the thoughts, because you are there. Your little point of awareness is aware. So that happens, right? Yeah. So that happens. We got lost there. This is just too much. All right. So anyway, thinking gets in the way of living. Thinking gets in the way of experiencing. Okay. Mm, mm, mm. And I know we have great temples. You know, temples with these incredible, the high priests that keep it alive. Uh, Around the world, and everybody wants to attend these temples, and to become a devotee, to become a sadhu, to become a novice, right? And these temples have names that I don't know, like Harvard and Oxford, and then there are lesser temples, but the temples are just temples to the mind, right? We have these temples to the mind, and we go there, and if you get they give you paper to prove that you have now you belong uh, to those with mind. You have mind. You have a mind now. Now you have all these words, right? So I went to all these schools, and then then I learned languages. That's how I learned these languages, right? So that's it is. I learned languages. Languages are where they're in the mind. So knowledge. I know you guys don't want to hear this. Get to the CFC stuff. Come on. I'm getting that in the groups too. People are, come on, just answer the question, guy. Come on. What is this? What's this? Come on. We came here for answers. I got an idea. If you came for answers, you know what? They got AI now. Just ask. What is it? There's apps. Anyway, you can ask it. Right. Timelines are collapsing. Right. It's like, do you know a year's past? It's 2025 already. Like what? Yeah. So yeah, get on with it. Come on, Lodi. What are you doing here? I said answer the question. I want to know this, this, this. Okay. So what you need is like an encyclopedia that doesn't give you the reason. I want to know the recipe. I don't care why or how. It's not going to work, because if you don't have this ingredient, you don't have this ingredient. What are you going to do? How are you going to put that together yet? How are you going to improvise? You can't. You can't improvise, which means you can't adapt. Which you can't adapt, you're in trouble. Why? Because life does what? Change. When does it change? It doesn't stop changing. So you got to understand things. So I always explain. I'd rather than giving people an answer, I'd rather give you the tools so that you can know the answer. All right, so you guys, I'm gonna jump into the questions. All right, and I can't get on TikTok. And like I said, the 2.0, the Lodi 2.0, Dr. Lodi 2.0, they said we were misinformation because we it was a little video about Oasis. So I think so. That's one, two more, and we're kicked off again. Yeah, Jen, we should do a group where we just talk about that. Why don't we have that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Very good. I agree. That's so. It's if you just want an answer, then like you can get that any. I mean, many people are offering answers. Take this course and and the 7 things you need to know. They've listed it right. The 7 things, um, and stuff like that. What I'd rather tell you is that there's only one concept you have to understand, and you'll know everything. What? Okay, okay. So, oh, thank you, thank you. You guys are too cool, too cool. All right, so let's get over to our raison d'être. What is our raison d'être? You all know? You all know. Where am I? Okay, I know it's here. Ah, there it is. Ah, okay. Let me put this down. Don't let me fool you. Don't I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, it may look like that, but I don't know what I'm doing. I even fool myself sometimes. So let me tell you that. So daylight saving time. I'm sure you're all aware of that. And what a ridiculous concept. Now the idea of saving time. Like if time is a thing that it's happening, it happens. What I still can't understand time because as far as I'm concerned, it has always been now. So what is time? If it's always now, I'm talking to someone from New York, and I'm here. What time is it? Because we're both now, and then we think there's different times. You have to understand that's all made up stuff. It's all made up. There is no time. Uh, and daylight saving time. um, all right, so you guys become a member of the inner circle so we can do more. We can talk about more. And I make these little mini PowerPoints. Um, and we get into a subject, and then we ask questions about it, or you can ask anything. But it's live questions. It's right now, and you get on, and we can talk face to face. So it's kind of cool, or not face to face. What is it? What are we? Pixel to pixel. Hey Pixie, hi Dixie. Hey Pixie. Okay. Anyway, it's Pixie and Dixie show. So let's come to the Pixie and Dixie show. So our group. So okay, and the health and healing group, which is the really fundamental one, is menopause and andropause. Okay, so those are kind of important concepts in our world, our lives. What is this blowing my eyes? The fan is on. Okay, it's for CFCs this week. We're going to do why do CFCs keep coming back, right? Why do they keep coming back? Because isn't that the problem? The problem's not, the problem is, okay, I get rid of it. Let's just get rid of it. But it keeps coming back. That's the problem. Why? Okay, now, also, you guys, it's Dr. Lodi 2.0 is alive, hopefully, for at least another 10 minutes. We can't figure out now. They're not letting us sign on because we can't get on. So we can't get on. They won't let us. So anyway, it's kind of like I don't know if you remember last year was Facebook was down for 7 months. 7 months, like we couldn't interact. I think you could still see, and then somebody else had taken over and was running my. Anyway, listen. Let me just tell you, if there are websites out there that are using me, whatever, using my likeness, and but whatever, I'm not selling anything. So if someone's selling something, a thing, it's not me. I'm not there. I don't do that. I don't sell things. Okay, so I don't sell things. I don't endorse things. I I might say I've used this, I use that. It doesn't mean I think I'm telling you should use it. But that's what I use because, you know, it's the best I could find, and I'm not, and I don't have that much time to just spend my time looking. That's why one day, you think by the time I'm 80, I'll have actually a team of people that actually can do what I think, what I would like, look up stuff. And I'd love that if I just had that. I mean, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I think with Nicole, um, and then Jen's side and all that, I think we're getting there, but it's very good. Getting better all the time with a little help from my friends, you know. Um, so you submit your questions at drlodi.com/live. So remember, Dr. Thomas Lodi MD on Twitter X, and then all the rest ones are Dr. Thomas Lodi. Okay, and then TikTok is Dr. Lodi 2.0. Hopefully, if they don't keep it, why do they hate us? Hey, whoever it was out there that gave me that advice on what words not to use, you know, and you also said that you had a friend who had gotten kicked off the TikTok many times. Anyway, we're having trouble, so get back to me because I can't remember where. I know in one of the groups or something we were talking, so get back to me, please. All right, so let's get into some questions. All right, you all ready for that? Thank you, thank you. See, that's why you guys have to join the thing so I can see you. Because right now I always have razón d'être. Yeah, I always have you guys as just like your name on the, but I don't see the human being. I can feel you, but I can't see you. Okay, so Dolly Cat is having problems with her CA19. Okay, we'll talk about that. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, so is gray hair a sign of copper deficiency? If so, the supplement market makes it extremely difficult to choose a copper supplement. There's copper sulfate, copper gluconate, copper biglycinate, and a slew more. Not sure which one is best for body absorption. I think you said zinc has to be paired with copper. Again, tons of varieties of zinc. Can you give me some guidance? Okay, yeah, Victoria, yeah. Well, okay, a copper deficiency, a significant copper deficiency, could do that because copper is involved in some significant enzymes for melanin to be, and melanin, as you know, is the pigment, right? Pigment of our skin, pigment of our hair, pigment um, of our eyes. So, um, so the melanin, which is produced by these cells called melanocytes, and they have these enzymes in there, and copper is really important and necessary. Without copper, they don't work. So, um, like copper's involved. I don't know if you've heard of fibroblasts, but fibroblasts are cells that are in our all tissues, and they're basically the construction crew. Um, so they put together the scaffolding, they put together, and then they put up the walls, the steel reinforcements. They just do it all. They put it all together. Okay, so so if you're going to heal a wound, you got the fibroblasts just freaking out. Fibroblasts turn out, when you have CFCs, fibroblasts turn out to be one of our biggest. I don't want to get into their language. Fibroblasts in a low oxygen, high acidic environment, which CFCs produce, when they're in there, they actually start. They like that environment. I'm using. I'm anthropomorphizing a white blood cell. Can you imagine that? How amazing! But that's how we're human. Like we're like really low. We're way down there. We're in the intelligence group, in the intelligence spectrum, yeah, we're not up there because we still use language. Can you imagine? There's a point at which you don't use language anymore. And we haven't developed that because we're too busy developing machines and computers and saying, "Well, we're gonna." So we're not. We didn't go inside and find out that. Wow, hey, we don't need computers. We don't need cell phones. We can actually communicate without all that. Yeah, we don't want to find that out. We want to. So we build these machines, and what do we have? We have these things. And what does it do? What does it have? When you build a machine, what happens? You look. Okay, now let's say it works. It works, and you all of a sudden you are thinking, feeling, wow, look what I did. Uh-huh. So we have pride, we have vanity, and then what comes with that? Oh, wow, the machines get better. Now we got these incredible computers. So the machines get better, and what do? We spend a lot of time with them, and it's called idolatry. So vanity, idolatry. Uh, and the saddest of all is that we didn't go inside because we were. Oh, okay. So here, so anyway, so in terms, remember we're talking about wound healing and fibroblast and all that. So uh, the copper will actually upregulate the collagen, the production of collagen. So rather than take collagen supplements, which don't work anyway, and you can, by the way, you can't take if you took collagen, which is a protein, the complex protein, you took collagen orally. Let's say for some reason that can't happen, but it'll get broken down into all of the amino acids, right? Because it's a protein. It gets broken down. All the amino acids they can get absorbed over into the blood. Then what? Where they're going to go here, there, and everywhere, right? They're not going to turn into collagen unless they have all the enzymes to do that, right? That's just how it is. Um, I don't care what they say on TV. I don't care what the ad says. I don't care how beautiful the model was. It's not going to happen. Now, well, I'm going to put collagen fillers in. Okay, we'll do that, and then they'll get degraded eventually because they're not you. It's a foreign substance. Anyway, so if you could get the collagen, let's say I'm going to get, I can't get the collagen. I'm just going to inject it into the blood. You'll die. You'll die. Yeah, you'll have an anaphylactic reaction. You can't have that. Right? Anyway, so you want to have increased collagen and look beautiful and whatever. Ascorbate, copper, zinc, are big ones. Big ones. So there's collagen, there's elastin, and all these things here that form our like connective tissue, form our like our padding. Keeps. Otherwise, our skin would, our skin, everything's kind of in there, right? So that's what they do, right? So the fiber, that does that. These enzymes require copper. Now, for that reason, copper has become a very important part of the beauty industry. And in fact, there's a peptide called GHK, which we talk about for CFCs. And why? Because GHK as a peptide, naturally occurring peptide, actually turns off about 70% of the turned on epigenetic changes that resulted in CFCs. Huh. Yeah, GHK does that. Then we got of course thymosin alpha 1 and methionine and enkephalin. We got which TA1 is going to give you more T cells, which you need, and then the methionine and enkephalin is going to go into the tumor microenvironment and undo all the negative stuff that happened, right? And then the other one. So these are good. And then the last one is, why am I forgetting what it is? How do you say that? Can you imagine? I forgot that. Anyway, there's another one that increases telomere length. And increased telomere length is inversely proportional to right, associated with CFCs. That's just one thing it does. Okay. Anyway, so that's what copper does. Okay, in terms of the skin. Okay, so it's very, very important. It's become a beauty thing. But it's also as a, if we put they've made a they've combined, they put copper on the GHK. So it's the chemical symbol for copper is Cu from cupras, some Latin foundation. And so Cu, it's Cu hyphen GHK. And yeah, so what it does, right? What is it going to do? Now, the GHK goes in there and does this peptide does other things for beauty. But remember something, beauty. What? Okay, there you go. How do we define beauty? So clearly, it's not. It's not. It's cultural, right? It's cultural, right? I mean, right? You get that. I hope you get that. I'll give you an example. In Hawaii, I lived there like 15 years, so I, um, I could actually speak pidgin. Um, in Hawaii, the royals, the kings, queens, obesity represented opulence, wealth. Okay, that was it's and of course why? Because if you've got a lot of money, you're going to eat more, or you're going to eat things that you wouldn't normally eat, um, that the average person wouldn't be able to eat. So anyway, they were big, and I think the Hawaiian royalty had something like I don't know five. I don't remember exactly 5 full meals a day. Even if it was 3, it doesn't matter because each meal was more than you could eat in a week, but they ate it. And they actually developed a system there. And it became, now it's people that go to Hawaii know about it. It's a system of a massage called Lomi Lomi. And Lomi Lomi was originally to help people get digest. It was like external peristalsis. Yeah. Anyway, so the bigger you were, the more attractive you were, right? So then you fast forward to Japan, 1970, 60, 80, 90, up until recently with the progress made by the large corporations like, I don't know, Burger King, and McDonald's, which is McDonald's. So they got there, and now we're kind of changing the landscape. But anyway, it used to be in Japan that if you weren't like skinny, you're fat, right? So yeah, and like over here in our country, in the U.S., and well, I'm not even in the U.S. anymore. Silly, I feel connected. Uh, if someone gains weight, you wouldn't say anything about it, right? You just say, "How you doing?" You don't notice it. If they lose weight, you see right away. Oh, you lost weight. We always notice you lose weight. We never know you gain weight. In Japan, it's the opposite. If you lost weight, if you gain weight, they go, "Oh, fototta ne," which means you know what it means. Now you could. I think you don't have to know what it means to know what it means, right? But so whole different thing. So whereas the Hawaiians and now Americans think that big is attractive, so beauty is really in the eye of the beholder. So, but what does that mean? That means exactly what it means. Here's what it really is. Beauty is really health. Because when you're healthy, every aspect of your being is glowing, and you're glowing, and you're like, and you're giving off this energy and all that, and remember, when you're looking at someone or talking to someone, it's not just this body that's producing these sounds. You're also aware of and in communication with and direct contact with the spirit that is that being. Even if you don't know it, most people don't know it, but except us, I mean, the rest of the world out there, I don't know, they're walking around with them. People actually think that they are their bodies and personalities. They think that's who they are. You have to realize how deep that is. They think that, and then um, you'll hear that there's such terms as uh, I had a spiritual experience. No, you are a spirit having a fleshly experience. You just happen to remember it for a second. That's awesome. So you had it. Anyway, we're like, but we had to go this way. Believe me. We had to go down here to darkness, and now we can go that way. It's required. It's just like if you have a beautiful flower, right? A fantastic, beautiful flower. You go, oh my God. You don't realize that if you were to look under the soil, you'd see the roots had struggled. They had worked hard, right? And they're in the darkness. And it's the struggling of the roots that have caused this petal to unfold, this beautiful flower. So it's necessary. Remember, no morality in this universe. Nah, this universe is based upon the laws of necessity. Period. And you don't, even if you don't want that to be true, think about it. When you're alone and and you can not have to show it, not have to put on an act. Think about it. It's not a moral universe. Because morality is a misunderstanding. And we'll do that later. We should have groups about that. We should also have a group on this kind of stuff. We should have a group on what's going on in the world. Like, hey, it's a great drama. This great drama that we're experiencing, that we're in the middle of, that we get the first. We all get it. We all have a first front row seat. Yeah, and can't do anything about it, by the way. But we have a front row seat. You know why? Because it's already been written. The story's been written. So no. I have I have free will and I have choice. Yeah. Okay. So how many? 7 billion people. About right. And their decision to do something, their choice, which could affect everyone. They have that. And so do 7 billion other people. Yeah, we are pretty chaotic. No. So anyway, just think about it. I'm not going to answer anything. I don't want to answer that question. I'm not going to go anywhere with that right now. So, but okay. So that's the thing. This copper, right? And it's the extracellular matrix. We talk about the extracellular fluid, which is really where the cells live and where they get their nourishment. They excrete their waste, all that sort of thing. That's what the extracellular fluid is. The hormones, it's their life. It's their ocean, their aquarium. Um, the infrastructure is made by fibroblasts. Okay. Um, and the other thing that copper is very interesting is it's also a cofactor in an enzyme called superoxide dismutase. And I'll tell you where that comes into the energy metabolism. Oxygen enters the mitochondria. Okay, oxygen is O2. Two atoms of oxygen become the oxygen molecule, which is O2. It enters in, and uh, it's split apart. Now you have two atoms of oxygen with extra electrons. So they're called superoxide. Is the name of this, and it's I'm sorry, not extra, having lost an electron. They're negative an electron, and they're going to get an electron. That's what a free radical is. It's a hungry electron. Uh, uh, it's ravenous for electrons. So, and this starts grabs everyone it can, so it just destroys them. But anyway, so those superoxide, there's two superoxides. Now you have an enzyme called superoxide dismutase that comes along, turns it into hydrogen peroxide. Now that's also an electron grabber, but not as powerful, but it's still there. And that, remember, that's the mechanism by which the high doses of vitamin C actually kill CFCs, right? Because they don't have the enzyme called catalase, which converts the hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. They can't do it. They can't do it, and so it kills them. For us, it's great. I mean, for regular cells, it's great because we get a little extra water and oxygen in our cells, and that's always good. So good for the good guys, bad for the bad guys, if you want to look at it that way. But anyway, so copper is really important there. So and it's like what it's yeah. So the so then and then like I said, it's a cofactor in these enzymes. Like the one is called tyrosinase, which is a necessary for making melanin. All right. So hair pigmentation and skin. So yes, indeed, you'd have to have a lot of loss in this. So the question is, can we treat gray hairs with that so that they come black again? And there has not been a lot of research on it. I haven't ever worked on that, so I don't know from a clinical point. Clinical is a word meaning experiential. That's all it means. It's experiential. We've got some clinical data. Clinical data means what? You observed it and you wrote it, made a note. But anyway, an opportunity for us to talk about the GHK, um, which is a hormone that's normally made in our cerebral spinal fluid and our brain, right? It's in there. And it stimulates the basal membrane of like the root of the hair and in the skin to increase angiogenesis, blood growth, blood cells, so that blood flow, so that you can get growth and pigment, right? um, and it uh, the GHK just basically turns on all the things that are necessary, gets the enzymes activated and all that for it to have it's for the either pigmentation or hair color, whether it's or growth or wound healing or any of that stuff. It's just it gets it all going, right? Which is why often it is said that you should lower the copper levels when people have CFCs, since copper is necessary for angiogenesis, which kind of makes sense in a way, right? However, what we got to remember, and this is like the essence of understanding, and that is understanding what biology, life, things like that, and that is the body is not made up of systems. The body is a system, which, by the way, is part of a greater system we won't even get into. But the body is a system. And there's nothing in the body that's happening in any one particular area that is not in direct communication with every aspect of the body. For example, the lungs are part of the heart. They're like, if, we've got four chambers in our heart, right? Okay. So comes into the right atrium, receiving, goes down into the right ventricle, right? Pumps it into the lungs. And the lungs gets rid of the CO2 and gives you more oxygen. Then that goes into where? Into the left atrium, down to the left ventricle, and that pumps it out to the world. So the lungs are, you can't say that you can't talk about the heart without the lungs. You can't, it doesn't exist. And you can't talk about any of them without the kidneys. And nerves, what? Nerves are where? Where's our nerve? Everything. So you can't set. We got to stop separating this. So, but if we understand that, um, that it's one system, then uh, that's going to allow us to not get stuck in the illusion that we can find that one thing that's going to fix anything. Yeah. Right. So we want to do multiple things to do it. So anyway, yes, we can take away copper, and in fact, there's people that treat tetrahydromolybdate. Tetrahydromolybdate is a chelating agent that grabs copper. So they give it to people with CFCs, and they check their ceruloplasmin levels, and they see how low it goes. And if copper goes down to a certain degree, they're not going to have angiogenesis. They won't be able to grow any new blood vessels. Yay! No, no, yay! You're growing blood vessels all the time in your retina. Your body's always he, health. Health. The root is heal. Heal. So health is the ability to continuously heal, and to continuously heal means to recycle, and so that's the essential nature of this body of ours. It's it's a shame that we have to use our language requires that we use an article like a, the, an with uh, uh, in reference to these sorts of things. So the body is not a thing; it's a process. It's a happening. It's an ing. Ing. Anyway, um, so now the other thing about it is copper is a very potent, almost as potent as iodine. Iodine's the queen of them all. Antibacterial, powerful antibacterial. Okay. Now, Victoria, you mentioned something about the zinc, the copper to zinc ratio. Yeah, it should be more zinc than copper, and we used to think it was like 20 to 1 zinc to copper, right? And but the ideal ratio can be anywhere from 8 to 1 up to 12 to 1, and I don't think we really know, and I think it changes. I've come to see that ratios change in conditions out of necessity. Remember, the body's going to only do one thing, and that's what's necessary. So, part of the way that came to be understood, the zinc to copper ratio, is that our ability to absorb zinc and copper, like if you're absorbing, they go through the same doorway. So if you're absorbing a lot of copper, like you're taking copper, then the zinc can't get in, and you won't get enough zinc. If you're taking too much zinc, the copper can't get in. So before you take it and measure it, it's got to be exactly 8 to 1. No, but that's what it is. So, but the zinc copper ratio is the reason that it's so important is because the zinc copper ratio, when that ratio is off, it results in inflammation, right? Because they're both involved in inflammation. It results in oxidative stress. It results in immune system dysfunction. And it's finally neurobehavioral stuff. You get, you can get emotional, or you can get like me. But and the reason is because zinc itself it functions in over 200 enzymes in the body. 200 enzymes in the body, and so without zinc they don't function. You got to understand that 200 different enzymes. In fact, it's like it's got more enzymatic reactions than any other mineral that we know of, right? So, and it's crazy. You know that the average person is ingesting through their diet anywhere from I don't know, 47, 48 to 67, 68% of the zinc necessary for um, function, right? Kind of like a ascorbate. We don't, we're all walking around low ascorbate levels, with low everything. So we're not going to be able to heal wounds. We're not going to be able to take care of infections. We're not going to be able to. It also, what else happens with zinc? You lose your sense of smell and taste. So, you remember the Great Hoax? You all remember the Great Hoax of 2020? Anyway, during the Great Hoax of 2020, some people were having. I'm not sure if it was the Great Hoax, but or if it was the cure-all, the magic cure-all from Pfizer and Moderna. That's how they say it in Thailand. They came along, and so, but whatever. Remember people talking about They lose their sense of smell. I'm sure it has something to do with zinc. Anyway, so zinc's important, but so is copper. They got to be in that ratio. Let's say 10 to 1. Okay, let's average between 8 and 12. The 20 to 1, that used to be what we were saying, but what studies are starting to show. And I hate when I say, I don't even like the word because then I sound like one of those white coated freaks. But anyway, and zinc, like if someone's sick, they go cold, whatever, flu, whatever we want to call it, zinc helps. And I say 30 milligrams 3 times a day. That's what I say. Now, uh, there's been like over 1,000 double-blinded, placebo-controlled studies showing the efficacy of zinc in all these situations. Immune enhancement, right? It's like crazy. I mean, just check it out for a second. Okay, zinc, because this is important. I know you got a burning question, but listen, okay, take your question out. Oh, just listen, all right. And I'm answering the questions you're gonna have. Now you won't have them. So okay. So zinc helps the thymus gland. We talk about the thymus gland, right? We need T cells. Thymus T. That's where we get the T from. T cells. It helps. It's necessary for the thymus gland to produce T cells. Wow. Right? So if your zinc levels are really, really low, then your thymus doesn't. You have no thymus. T cells. Yeah, those are the one. Activated T lymphocytes are what do clean up that mess we're trying to clean. Okay. Then how about the macrophage? The macrophage is the one that takes the bite out of the CFC or whatever bacteria or whatever, and gives it a piece, gives it to the T cell. So now the T cell knows where to go. What affects those? How about the B lymphocytes? The B lymphocytes are what produce antibodies. Antibodies are chemicals that produce. The B lymphocyte becomes a plasma cell, and the plasma cell produces these specific antibodies. But anyway, that's all cut in half without zinc. And then finally, okay, there are what we call phagocytic cells. So phagocytic cells are cells that eat. So we have neutrophils which eat. You want to always have your neutrophils above a certain amount because they're out there in the periphery of our tissues. And you get a cut, they're right there eating up anything that's going to perhaps cause a problem. In our gut, they're everywhere. Neutrophils. And there's another one that does that. It's called the natural killer cells, NK cells, right? And they're like really after tumor cells. They don't like tumors. And they don't need to have a macrophage tell them. They already know. They know they're natural killers. So they're there to eat. Well, guess what? Zinc is essential for their development. So do you realize that the immune system requires zinc? And in order to have the proper, but that requires the proper zinc copper ratio. 10 to 1. We'll go with that one, right? Now, in terms of what type of, you see, minerals can't be absorbed by themselves. They've got to be bound to something. So they're usually bound by and this happens in plants. They bind them to either a organic acid or a amino acid. So when you see zinc glycinate, right? It's bound to a glycine amino acid or whatever. So I'm not sure what you're taking. Now I think there must be supplements that have the zinc, that have the ratio worked out in there. I don't know. I haven't looked into what supplements are available now, but that's It's kind of like with magnesium. You also have all these. You have magnesium citrate, magnesium glycinate, magnesium threonine. They're all L-threonine, uh, and they have different purposes. So you know what I should do actually is to uh, take the minerals and show you what each one, how it can be paired to either an organic acid or an amino acid, and what that would do particularly in the body. Like, as for example, you take some magnesium, it'll help you move your bowels. If you want to get the magnesium to go to your brain, you put theanine, L-theanine, treonine. So yeah, that's how that works. So let's say I will do that. Okay. Um, Now, what do you recommend for my husband battling Sagittarius? It really distracts me. Ah.